starts in 8 minutes. Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack.
Good morning, Charlotte.
We promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go! Show starts in 7 minutes. It's refreshment time, folks.
Taste that beats the others go. Backseat boys is on. Taste that beats the others go. Backseat boys is on.
Yum, yum. It's a meal in itself. Our all-meat super dog. Enjoy one now. Show starts in 6 minutes.
As everyone knows, rainbows usually have a treasure at the end.
Good morning, Carrie Wright, my dear.
See if we can find the pot of gold.
I suppose you've come to claim me treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
Anything that's better than gold in here, me lad. No, just look here, no.
Candy, refreshing soft drinks, popcorn, ice cream. Well, that's some treasure, but anyone can buy luscious treats like these at the snack bar.
You don't tell me. Do you suppose you can get me a job as a snack bar attendant?
Show starts in 5 minutes.
We're happy to have you with us this evening and want you to enjoy every minute of your stay here. And while you relax and stretch, visit our concession where you'll find something to please you. There are ice-cold drinks, delicious sandwiches, ice cream, coffee and snacks, and many other pleasing treats. Our foods are fresh and tasty, our drinks satisfying and refreshing. They're so good.
You get more out of life when you go out to a movie. Show starts in 4 minutes.
Visit our snack bar and treat yourself to some delicious Castleberry's pit-cooked barbecue sandwiches. Cook the Castleberry way slowly over open pits of glowing charcoal, then season with a sauce that's zesty, yet delightfully mild to please the entire family. Also at the snack bar, you'll find popcorn and soft drinks and candy and French fries to go with your Castleberry's barbecue sandwiches. There's plenty of time before the movie starts, so visit our snack bar right now for Castleberry's pit-cooked barbecue sandwiches.
Still plenty of time to come and be served at the refreshment center before showtime.
Show starts in 3 minutes.
Good morning. Good morning, Christy D'Souza. Good morning, everyone.
Show starts in 2 minutes.
Your attention, please. All new hotshot electric in-car heaters have been installed for your comfort and convenience. Just insert heater through car window and turn on the switch. When leaving, please turn switch off and replace on speaker post. Warning, high voltage. For your own safety, do not attempt to repair or remove wires. Do not attempt to open heater unit. If you need assistance, please notify the theater box office or concession manager.
Show starts in 1 minute.
Good morning, everyone.
Please remember to replace the speaker on the post when you leave the theater.
And now, on with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paint by Monster with me, your host, Easel Monster. It's great to see all of you again on this Monday, May the 11th. Welcome, everybody who's here with me. Today, where's the Paint by Monster slate supposed to be on there? I thought the Paint by Monster slate is going to be on. Hang on. Hey, there we go. Well, welcome to Paint by Monster with me, your host, Easel Monster. It's sort of a little podcast art visit. Today, I thought I would draw you a map to my house. For those of you who have been joining me regularly, you know that at some point in the very near future, I am going to show you around my house and where I live and show you where I live and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you that. But today, I thought maybe we would draw a little picture of a map, the area around my house, because sometimes, boys and girls, drawing a map is really fun to do. Draw the little area. If you're a D&D player, drawing the world, drawing the town, all of that kind of stuff. It's fun to use paper and lines to say geographical ideas. It's an old thing. So let's get into the art shot. We'll get some music on. And also, as always, please send me a photograph of whatever it is you are working on while we are together. There are so many wonderful artists here in the room. And thank you, all of you who are watching the reruns, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Boys and girls, the moment we have 1,000 subscribers over there on YouTube, I will migrate the show over to YouTube. But meanwhile, hey, let's get some music on and let's get to some drawing. Please, please. Your patience is always appreciated. I had a great weekend. I hope your weekend was really good. Oh, hey. That was interesting. How about that? Let's go back to there. And give me 2 seconds. Pow, pow. Let's get some music on because I would like to have some music this morning. I think maybe we'll go back to some... actually, let's listen to some bossa nova for a while, and then later on we'll play some internet show and tell. I have some stuff I want to show you. I should have had this queued up, but sorry, everybody. Bossa nova. Thank you, stagehand. Public domain. Right. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Boom and boom, and no, not that one. Sure, this is fine. Here we are. This maybe will be nice. Oh. So it's snowing where you are, huh? In the D'Souza land, it's snowing. So I'm going to draw a map of the place where I live today, and now this is going to be sort of a reveal here, boys and girls, because, believe it or not, well, let's just talk about when you draw a map. I like to draw a map thinking of from overhead. Drone footage these days gives you a lot of what it looks like. So there's a water tower downtown in Muncie, and here's a railroad track that goes through. It sort of bends right there, railroad track. There's a railroad. I better do this a lot smaller. There's a railroad outbuilding and a road here and a road here, and there's a road here, like that, and then it comes like this. This road here. Back here, there's this parking garage here thing. And then up here, there's a hotel. It's like a Marriott, kind of a hotel. There's a building over here. It's a convention center and a children's museum, that kind of a thing over here like this. And a post office kind of a thing down here. There's a roundabout right here. Right here. There's a statue here with Indian on it, an Indian chief. And then this keeps on like this. People circling like this. The roundabout goes. The music store is over here. You get the YMCA is over here. Let's see. This way, the sweeper store where the Mac vac computer shop vac that I have, it gets serviced right here in this little building. It's a little brick building just off the corner. In fact, if I'm going this way, sometimes I'll sneak around here to get to the music store, or sneak this way to go home to where I live. And then just over the railroad track, it should have been on this side. Over the railroad tracks here, it's a big factory. And they make car parts, but they also make some stuff with atomic thinking. Charlotte asked, if you ever play Animal Crossing, would it be okay that I add you as a best friend? It would, Charlotte. I'll have to go look up what Animal Crossing even is. So there's a factory over here. They make some stuff. Down here, I think you can give blood down here. There's a place where you can give blood. And over here, across the street from where you can give blood, there's a restaurant. Down here, I think this is called Bazooki's Restaurant. Not necessarily an endorsement to eat it, but I haven't eaten at Bazooki's yet. It's one of the things I got to do. There's a store over here. So, and then there's a way to get back to this. There's some parking lot really here and some outbuildings. None of it sounds really attractive, probably, but that's okay. You know, everybody has to live somewhere, and there's a lot of brick streets here. And that's enough of sort of my neighborhood. This is the back of the parking lot here. This reminds me sort of Sim City, you know, this kind of drawing, thinking. The word here sometimes that you hear is, I think it's isometric drawing. That is the $10 word for 30 degrees, 60 degrees sort of drawing, but that's all right. And today, I think maybe I'll start drawing this in Sharpie. There's some little houses here and stuff, not next to the railroad tracks. Get to all of those, and a little house. Maybe this will be a project that'll take multiple days. That might be fun. There's some houses along here. There's a really nice, beautiful old brick one that sits right here on the corner. Right here. This is the back of the convention center and the big parking lot. There's a building here. There used to be an ice skating rink right here, but they tore that down, and instead they put up this beautiful parking lot, and it's really not... Charlotte says, I'm honestly trying to not go all nerd on you and overflow your chat. That's all right, hon. You can just go ahead and just go all nerd and overflow the chat, Charlotte. It's fine with me. I'm drawing a map today. This is a map of the area where I live. This is the downtown Muncie, Indiana area. And there's some little buildings out here and around, so All right. And I gotta put this stuff on here because there's stuff on here, boys and girls. Yeah, all right. That's not horribly bad. Today, like I said, I'm gonna start. I think. Oh, hey, let's try a new little tool that we've not used before. This is called a Quill Pen, and it makes tiny, tiny little ink lines. And I'll show you those. I'll try to use that. See if I can make that do anything good. Hang on. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome to Paint by Monster. I see I'm going to have to order some more ink. All right, let's try this. I don't know if you'll even be able to see this. Hang on. This will help. There we go. All right. So this. Yeah, this is going to be good. Okay. And there's this. The antenna array. Up here, and then this. Oh, more ink. That's with these things, you got to keep constantly dipping them. So I've been thinking about a lot of stuff this weekend. One of the things I thought maybe to share with you today is May the 11th today. It happens to be the birthday of some people that I admire. Today is the birthday of Mr. Richard Feynman. He died in 1988, but he was born this day. He was a physicist. I have one of his books with me. We might read that. No, we won't read it, but I'll show you what the man looked like. Oh, that's not helpful at all. I'm almost out of ink. This is the water tower. And the gate around. So that when you go out there, you don't fall off. You don't want to fall off. When I was a little monster, I used to like to draw maps to my house and treasure maps to the neighborhood to show where all the stuff was buried at that I had buried around the neighborhood. None of it was really buried. You could go and just pick it up. But treasure maps, that was fun. Maps to go find things. Good morning, everyone who is stopping by. Thank you always, everyone who is stopping by. So, yeah, okay, and then they happen back here too. You can't ignore the ones that happen back here. Right, okay, so the water tower is right there. And then there's some outbuildings, there's a fence. Hang on, let's go over here. I'll do a couple more of these buildings and then we'll move on and do something else. Play some show and tell. How would that be? This is one of those things, it takes a while. one of the things they don't talk much about in art school is that being an artist means you're going to spend a lot of time alone, just by yourself, doing stuff, making stuff. I think this little building right here sells stuff. Some kind of there's a wall right here back to another outbuilding that goes back behind it. I don't know how far. I don't know what they sell. They sell something right there. It's not true. I do know what they sell, but it's really secret and I can't really tell you. They sell U-Haul trucks. That's what they sell right there. The U-Haul truck right there on the side of the road. All right, and here's the road and the drive where you can get into their place. And like this stops, and then the awful railroad tracks that happen. They go well like this. In Muncie, there's almost always a train going through. I'm using a Quill Pen, which means this is going to take a while, but that's okay. Do you like to turn things over in your head when you draw? I do. I like to think about what would that look like from the other side? How would you do that? What would that look like? I think that's the road. There's a berm here. They've divided how you can get over the railroad tracks. So. Yeah. All right. And here, there's one. I think it's a double track, but you'll get the idea. I'm not really worried about it. All right. I know that there's a big building right here. Sort of a factory looking thing. This is downtown Muncie. And it's not really clean, so I don't mean to make this look really clean. There's garbage and stuff and maybe some little trees here and there. There's some scrub up next to the railroad tracks. Yeah, that's starting to look like downtown Muncie. I want the edge of that back building there to have a little bit more presence, I think. Yeah, okay. And maybe I'll do just a little bit more here and we'll move on and do something else. Thank you for joining me this morning. Welcome, everyone. Charlotte says, long story short on Animal Crossing, it's mainly you as the only human who lives among the most adorable animals alive. Well, that sounds like a wonderful game. My goodness. All right, this is the downtown map of Muncie project. This will be bigger as it expands, and I'll do that as we go. I also thought today I'd show you some art. Let's take a look at some art. Hang on. There we go. All right. Let's see here. He's just frozen like that. Sometimes he comes into my office and he just stares that way. Welcome to Paint by Monster. Today I'm drawing a map, a little map of the city where I live. This is Muncie, Indiana, downtown. I've just drawn the water tower and the train tracks. Here's some show and tell. Hang on just a second. Let me see. Welcome to the show, by the way. All right, let's go over here and take a look at this. Yeah, let's, hang on. I wanted to show you this. This is a Tumbleweed Tornado. This was recorded here a couple of weeks ago out of Washington State. Take a look, watch this. Tumbleweed Tornado. Here they come. Here, watch it again. Here they come. Isn't that like the wind slapboxing you like your brother? That's so great. Here it goes. Slow motion, slow motion. Tumbleweed Tornado in Benton County, Washington. Here it goes. Shh, shh, shh. That is so fabulous. Here's some other internet show and tell. Today is the birthday of Salvador Dali, the Surrealist. Here is some Salvador Dali. We don't need the music here, though, however. So here's some Salvador Dali. These are his early works. He was a surrealist. He was a very, very interesting artist. One of my very favorite Salvador Dali stories. Oh gosh, isn't that beautiful? One of my favorite Salvador Dali stories is that he shows up in a diving bell helmet to the microphone to give a talk. And then he opened the front window of the diving bell and said, "The difference between me and a madman is that I am not mad." Wowee. The work of Salvador Dali, the Surrealist painter. Sorry about that, everybody. Krista D'Souza says it's not often that you see his early stuff, and that's the truth. It's not. He was such an accomplished draftsman. In fact, he has some great quotes about learning how to draw. There's nowhere to hide in the drawing. The drawing is either good or bad, and he was so accomplished. Look at that dude, Penny. Look at that. Ugh. Salvador Dali. Later on, he was known for producing his Surrealist works. Usually the things associated with Dali are the melting clock sorts of images, you know. Let me find some of that later stuff. Hang on. Oops. Boys and girls. Wow. To me, one of the qualities I find regularly in Dali's work is that it's simultaneously very loud and very quiet. I'm not sure how he does that exactly. There's an intensity to his work that is just beautiful and alarming. Anyway. Wow, look at that. Yeah, all right. Boy, you can just get lost in all of that. Yes, thank you for those hearts. I think so too. Let's move on to something else. Let's find out what else we can get into here. Because today is the birthday of Mr. Richard Feynman, one of the other things that I thought maybe we'd do is one of Feynman's, who was a scientist. You know, Richard Feynman, he wrote all kinds of things about physics. In fact, he was the scientist who determined that it was the faulty O-rings that caused the Space Shuttle Challenger to explode, which is not necessarily a good story, but Richard Feynman was a physicist who taught at Caltech. He was just really, anyway, it's his birthday today, hang on just a second, boom, Richard Feynman. Here's his book on quantum electrodynamics, which is what we know about light. And here's his book. This is a national bestseller. A lot of people love this one, the meaning of it all. He's just a really smarty guy. And he's fun to hang out with. Instead of reading what people think about him, it's more fun to read what this guy has to say for himself. Charlotte says these pictures felt like they should be in an art exhibit in the museum in Animal Crossing. Maybe they can be. That's a great idea. But this guy right here, not only was he a physicist, and not only did he do great work on black holes and all that kind of stuff, but this guy also played the bongos, and he drew really, really well from life, and he loved Tuvan throat singing, which is a weird kind of musical singing, and I thought maybe I'd share that with you again today. I've shared it on the show before, but I love Tuvan throat singing, and so I thought today, here's some Tuvan throat singing, boys and girls. Listen. Yeah. Oh, man. Great stuff. Just great stuff. Penny, I love that Tuvan throat singing. That's just, Lard D'Souza wrote me earlier that he was with some Mongolians once. They were Tuvan throat singing, and also he thinks maybe they were drinking. And, could be. A lot of those Tuvan throat singing songs, they're about how cool their horse is and how clean the river is where they live. It's just a great song. It sounds like cicadas chirping in the wind, and it's about how great and fast my horse is and my family line and how clean the water is. And I love it, Penny. I don't mind that you don't love it as much as I love it, but that's okay. Okay. It's okay if we have a little bit different musical tastes. It is okay. All right. So, boys and girls, let's go back to the drawing shot. This is the map that I'm drawing of where I live. This is downtown Muncie, Indiana, and there's the water tower and the building where they sell U-Haul trucks and the factory that I don't think they make anything in that factory right there any longer, and the sweeper store. Before we get out, also the drugstore down the street, and I was using today, for the first time ever on the show with you, a Quill Pen. These aren't very expensive. I think you can get these, $5 or $6, and this part up here comes on and off. There are different kinds of attachments here. If you didn't know about that, maybe most of you who are artists, you already know about that, so I like that these things can make a really fine little line. I don't think they hold as much ink as a brush, though. And let's get maybe some other... What did you think about that Tumbleweed Tornado? Wasn't that fun and terrifying? Wow. Let's draw some more map. All right. The next road you get to really is this one. Laura says that he loves inking with nibs. He needs to practice his brush inking, that he does more. But I do Sunday comics with nibs, he says. Yeah, I don't use these very often. Usually, I like that little number 2 Winsor Newton synthetic sable watercolor brush. But I do like these occasionally. They're nice. You can make some scritchy things with them. That's good. It doesn't have to be completely accurate. It just has to give you sort of the idea of what's going on. So, all right. Yeah, that could be a little roof line on that building right there. I'm drawing a map here of downtown Muncie, Indiana. It doesn't have to be exact, really. But, oh yeah, right. There's also a little building right over here that is part of the newspaper distribution system, and it sits right up next to the railroad tracks. Like that. There's a railroad that goes through town. Railroads go through all kinds of places. To live in Muncie, Indiana, is to be very familiar with the sounds of the train. We like the sounds of the train at my house. Yeah, you see about how long you can make those lines before the ink runs out, right? How about, we have about 20 minutes left, boys and girls, in our time together, so how about this? I would like to spend some time drawing a little picture of Richard Feynman today. Which is strange, but there it is. All right, like this. All right. Now, I like this little picture of him. This one. Wonder how fast I could make that on here. I don't know. Let's find out. I'll try to make this real quick. Thanks for joining me, everybody. All right. Just if I do exactly that, the darkest parts is this here. Oop. I'm looking at the shapes. I want something down there that's wrong probably before I get to something that I think is right. Probably. Hi, 6 people who are watching. Let's see if I can do this. Maybe not. Some of this over here on this side. Down like this. Some of that. Sure, like that. Maybe there. I got a great question this last weekend on one of the YouTube videos I posted. My dear friend John Harris said, sometime would you please talk about how you go about depicting the idea of emotion, like laughing or crying or things like that. How do you think about making those sorts of making characters seem like they're having those sorts of experiences? What do you think about? And I thought you've hit on the very heart of cartooning, which is how do you, in fewer strokes than the camera shows you, how do you say someone's emotional state? Because the truth is, it's more about acting than drawing. In fact, it's a nice thing to think about, maybe for a month or so. Less drawing, more acting. More acting. How do you act as your characters? It's a fun thing to think about. He's got this over here, right? And one of these right there. This here will be a little more later on. I'm drawing Richard Feynman, the physicist. It's his birthday today. Darker over here, yeah. And dark all the way out, yeah. To here, that's right. That's right. How are you on this Monday? I hope you're doing great. All the way up to great. A friend of mine is fond of saying, don't ice the cake before you bake it. Be careful of putting in details. Before you have your big ideas established, don't do it. Get the details worked out, or get the big picture worked out first, and then you can add detail. I don't know. I'm trying to copy the patterns of the lights and the darks, you see. That's a big space right there. I think maybe that goes up to here, like that. Oh. Yeah, all right. I can live with that and believe that. Some of this over here. Yeah. This needs to be drier before that's going to work. Connect all of those. Right. How you doing, everybody? Welcome. We've got about 15 minutes here left before I sign off the pirate broadcast of Paint by Monster here on Facebook. Live Monday through... That was a wrong move. That's all right. Monday through Saturday at 11 o'clock. He's got this sort of smile going on. I can't put that in there. That I don't want to say that dark actually. That's better. Okay. Maybe I'll say this like this over here. It's got to come down here like this, and this. He's got to have that smile line. He's smiling. Charlotte says, I actually draw my feelings like whenever I feel sad. I draw a sad picture. When I'm angry, my picture shows my... You know, Charlotte, I think you're absolutely right. Let me turn this music down for a second. Let me say this really seriously, because I believe this, and what you said, if I could give you a little thumbs up and a heart right now, I would do both of those things, because I believe, and have for ages, that the way you think and feel shows up in your work. You can see somebody's emotional state. You can see it. You can see it in their work. I think you can see it in their work. So I'm not surprised to hear that. I love hearing that, actually. All right, and some of this back here. Yeah, and some of this down to the back of that hand. And I got to try to get to a lesson. I got to get rid of some of this juicy watercolor here. You see, I'm trying to sort of just copy the shapes of the darks and the lights. That's all I'm doing, really. Make some of this cheek happen here, right? He's got up to here, the nose. Yeah, all right. And then some of this goes up over into here. Yeah. Right, and some of this down like this. Down like this and like this. Right, and there's some darker right there. Yeah, there's some stuff happening there, I think, maybe. Maybe. Richard Feynman's birthday. Go play some bongos today and read the wiki about Richard Feynman. Really interesting guy. You can go listen to some of his lectures online. He taught physics at Caltech. If you're not into physics, probably you won't like going to learn about Richard Feynman. Probably. I want to be really careful with that over there. I don't want to destroy that white there. I want that left there. This, there's a little bit of this over here. Now we're into the subtle parts where you could really mess things up really, really good now. Well, you thought you could mess things up before, but now you might really just make this whole thing be toast, just at any time. You can put a stroke down that just completely boogers it up forever and ever, and all of your family stops liking you, and that doesn't happen. That's the thing that I thought maybe we'd talk about someday, boys and girls, that it's part of when you work by yourself, alone, and you're an artist, it is really, really easy to think that your art, people like people to critique your art, say things about your art that aren't good, and they still like you. Doesn't mean they don't like you just because they don't like your art. Somebody called me creepy the other day. Mrs. Monster jumped to my defense. I'm like, you're not in charge of how other people think of you. It doesn't work that way. It's okay if some people think you're creepy. It's okay if some people don't like your work or even don't like you. You can't please everybody. But just because somebody doesn't love your work does not mean they don't love you. I've gotten this, there's a piece of light in here that I have destroyed that I did not mean to destroy. I've got to get his smirk. If anything else, I've got to get his smirk in here. But maybe that's better done with a little piece of ink. Maybe after that's dry, I can go in there and put a little piece of ink in there. Yeah. All right. Let me try and get this just a little bit better. Going that way, right there. Probably a little dark. Probably. What are you talking about? Probably. You know it's too dark. Yeah. And this. And this. Yeah. Sort of helpful. This down here is going to have to be darker. There's some stuff starting to happen over here, I think. Okay. I believe all of this, I think. Yeah, there's more dark in here. Oh, gosh. That was probably a wrong move just there. That's all right. And there's a shot through there. This comes up here like this and into here, and there's a whole passage of shadow that runs right along here, right there. You can sort of see it. I'm trying to darken down to it without losing the things that I want to preserve. This over here, right? A little patch of dark. That nose is too light there. Yeah, okay. And then down here, there's a patch of light there. That's saved. That. All right. There's some more going on down here too. This patch connects down here. He's got this going on. And this up into here. And this over here. And this up here. Yeah, all right. There's some stuff starting to happen. I think there's some stuff starting to happen, but you know, boys and girls, what do I know? All right, one last thing. Are you okay with sad things occasionally? I ask because I have a poem to read you today. I'm going to turn the music off. Here goes. So, boom, turning this music down lower. Boys and girls, this is going to be a poem. This is sad, but that's okay. Oh, by the way, last week, or last Saturday on the show, I did those 2 snakes on a skateboard, and this goes out today to Christy D'Souza and the whole D'Souza family who is here already tearing up, says Jeremy Trammels. Thanks. this is going out today, and you'll find this a lot of times. Boys and girls, most of the stuff you see me do on the show is for sale on my website, paintbymonster.com, and you can see that, like, I shed when I draw, so I glue some of my little hairs to the art. Made this last Saturday, and Christy and Lar and everybody at your house, watch the mail. Watch the mail. All right. So, I just lost my place, too. I happen to know, though, however, that it's page 35. Boys and girls, page 35. This is scrambled eggs and whiskey. And here is this. And then we'll say our goodbyes. So often, it has been displayed to us, the hourglass, with its grains of sand drifting down, not as an object in our world, but as a sign, a symbol, our lives drifting down grain by grain, sifting away. I am sure everyone must see this emblem somewhere in the mind. Yet not only our lives drift down, the stuff of ego with which we began, the mass in the upper chamber, filters away as love accumulates below. Now, I am almost entirely love. I have been to the banker, the broker, those strange people to talk about unit trusts, annuities, CDs, IRAs, trying to leave you whatever I can after I die. I've made my will, written you a long letter of instructions. I think about this continually. What will you do? How will you live? You can't go back to cocktail waitressing in the casino. And your poetry? It will bring you at best a pittance in our civilization, a widow's mite, as mine has for 45 years, which is why I leave you so little. Brokers, unit trusts. I am no financier doing the world's great business. As the sands in the upper glass grow few, can I leave you the veil of 10,000 trilliums where we buried our good cat Pokey? Across the lane to the quarry. Maybe the tulips I planted under the lilac tree, or our red-bellied woodpeckers who have given us so much pleasure, and the rabbits and the deer and the kisses and the lovemaking, all our embracings. I know millions of these will be still unspent when the last grain of sand falls with its whisper and its inconsequence on the mountain of my love below. Hayden Carruth, Scrambled Eggs and Whiskey. His collection of poems from 1995. And I think that poem is just about as wonderful a thing as I think maybe I've seen. It's one of my favorite pieces in life. I love that poem. Thought I would share that with you today. It makes me cry almost every single time I read it. What do you think, Penny? Yeah. Well, me too. Boys and girls, it's coming soon. Soon, the visit inside of my house, and I'll show you around and all that stuff. Hey, this is the art we did today. This is the, hang on. Here, I started painting on Richard Feynman. I'll get the rest of that. Here is the map downtown that I'm working on. And yes, I love all of you too for showing up. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I love doing the Paint by Monster every single day. It is a blast to be here with you. I am having such a good time, everybody. How about the closing song? Well, you have to turn things on.
Right, but also, please, leave me a comment in the comment section below, or get really wild and leave true comments. For now, I answer everyone back. Also, share the video and tell your friends. And in the meantime, you know what to go do with yourself.
Sing, everybody.
Go make some art.
Make a drawing or a painting. Go make something entertaining. Make some art. Go make some art. Go get your pencils, paints, and paper, plaster, chisels, markers, scrapers, rulers, canvas, brushes, hammers, nails, and tape, guitars, and super glue. Get glue and macaroni, canvas, frames, and fried bologna. Go get anything you need for making art. That glowing feeling deep inside that you can do it isn't lying to you. Get up off your butt and make some art. Paint by Monster is made by one monster sitting in a tiny upstairs bedroom studio smack downtown in Muncie, Indiana. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Go make some art, and I will see you next time, tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, right here on Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for joining me, for being with me here on Paint by Monster, the little art show with big ideas, and me, your host, Easel Monster. I will be back tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. All these videos on YouTube. Go watch the YouTube videos. Share the videos. Tell your friends what's going on. I will see you later. Love you all. Bye.